vote in, whatever. And then I'm sitting on the news and I'm watching it, and they talking about like now they got to go recount and like something happened to the. It's like, bro, like when you taking a bus somewhere, you really taking time to go do this. You got to bring your license, you got to make they register all that, and then you get there and then you actually do it, and then you go and then they start with your like. You know, you see it on the news and like the counts are miscounted or like, you know what I mean? It makes you like be like what's the point?
Like quote unquote.
Yeah, what's the point? Why am I working my ass off to go do this? Ain't changing, but do they want us to think that? Is that designed that way?
Well, I mean, so. Is the local election like that, or is the miscount coming from the national election?
I think it's both, honestly. But
because I don't hear about miscounts on the local elections. Normally, just be like whatever is whatever. But the big ones now, all of a sudden we got to count
I do agree.
And
I do agree. Local elections is where the change starts.
Yeah.
If people really wanted, like, you know. I want to change. I want this to change. I'm sick of this. That's where it starts, man. Get the right people in the office there. That's gonna speak for you at these floors. You know what I'm saying? You got to get behind somebody that you know that's a leader. You know that they out here.
And millennials got to stop being scared to be politicians.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree.
I'm sorry. I just got to say that whoever want to do that, if you feel called to do that, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of Don't back down. Do not be silent. Do not do any of that because we're scared to take on the role.
You think it's a scared thing? Or
I've not seen a lot of us, and we've been grown for a minute.
Is it a scared thing or is it like thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it a scared thing or is it like, I ain't really with it?
I mean, here's the thing. If we don't really with the system, then we need to make a new system. But either way it goes, we need to do something or shut the fuck up.
Oh.
So if we're going to go with the system we got now, it sounds so harsh to say it like that, but if we're going to go with the system we got now, then that means we have to elect people that is inside of the system that's already created. If we don't want to do that, then we got to make a new system. But people don't want to get together to even make a new system. So either that or you shut the fuck up. So you got to pick one.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
Right,
I've been wanting to recreate the Constitution for forever. We need to rewrite the Constitution, but we can't complain about everything, so we have to come up with a solution.
Right. Yeah, good. I don't have so much to say about that.
So I'm sorry.
No, hey, listen, but we can let's dive into like the actual abortion laws, right? So the laws are like pretty much making it illegal in some of these states. Like you can't I heard Texas is like, who told me Texas is like making it a death penalty if you do the abortion?
I don't know, Alabama, Texas.
Alabama's like, it's illegal there.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about it like kind of a little bit before the show as far as like rights within those decisions, like men and women rights as far as deciding on, if they want to do abortion or what happens after the fact.
Right.
Especially with now it's becoming a real like, you can go spend some serious time for doing an abortion, or in Texas get killed, which is fucking ridiculous. But, which I think, we can dive back into it. I guess. Go ahead.
Well, all right. So, there's somebody left out. I think men are left out in the decision, and as being as neutral as I can with it. Like, if you are a man and you decide that you can't afford a child and it's not the right time for you, and that's if, I guess if they're legal and everything else or whatever. So there's a decision to be made between a man and a woman whether they should have this child. And the man says, I can't afford it. It's not the right time. I don't think I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Yeah. Whatever the same questions that go through our minds. They're not really given any right to it. And so it is left to us.
To the women.
It is. And that's what everybody's pushing. Like, if you don't have a womb or whatever, that's fine too, because we do have to carry it.
I see both ends. One, because I just don't feel right in telling, as a man, I don't have to go through the night. All I do is plant the seed, and I have to make sure you get whatever cravings you get for those 9 months.
So if you're the one saying, I want the child.
Yeah. Like
right. So in that case, you don't have to. So I really super side with the women on that one, with us on that. Because like you're saying, I want the child, and we're like, no, I don't want to spend 9 months. Yeah. I don't want to do this. I don't want to spend the next lifetime raising a child. Okay. But then what if it's the opposite? So then that makes
I definitely. Well, I talked to my homies about this, like, and he brought up like, if oh, if a man decides like, all right, look, I don't want this kid. I want you to have an abortion.
Right.
And straight up, like,
right.
That's not what I want. And the woman's like, no, I want the baby. Like, I
right.
want. So where does that leave the man? Because he's probably gonna get stuck with some. So he was like, yo, well, once you sign over the rights and say, look, I'm signing over my rights to my kid. That should not make you liable to child support.
But
and
it does.
I know that's going to be a very controversial topic, but I agree with. I agree with that.
We, ladies, we have to do things better in 2019 and beyond. We have to listen to men with all that they're telling us in the beginning. Sis, if we listen to him at the very start, things can be different. Not to say that they always will be, because love is very tricky. Love is very tricky.
Right.
But when women get caught in love situations, in relations, we tend to lose ourselves in the story instead of the reality.
Yeah.
So I'm putting this on someone's heart to just listen to whatever it is that he's saying when he say it.
From the beginning.
From the beginning, and those clues. Like, just turn on your intuition, turn your God up.
Yeah, man.
Turn your goddess on the inside of you up.
But I agree with that.
And then you can 100%. Feel it. And then and then we don't have to talk about babies.
Yeah.
We don't even have to talk about the babies. Like, let's just talk about the relations of two people and about if you should be the person that I'm with and if I should even trust you to even implant a seed in me.
100%.
Do you have the qualities that I even need?
So it's all falling on us still.
It's still
all falling on us.
It is.
Regardless. Because they're
going to go around and do what they want to do.
Right.
We the ones, it took God longer to make us. So we got more sense.
That's true, too.
It took him the time. He was like, well, we got Adam. He like, I don't know how. How am I finna do this? Let me take a little extra time. I got to grab the rib. He got to get ingredients.
You're right.
We're not regular.
True. We're not. And we don't act regular. We can't be predicted. That's the truth, too. But there are, like, just sometimes, like, there's no telltale. Sometimes you just get left holding the bag, and you're like...
So I talked about this with Christina about men, because she, we got into this argument, not even getting personal, but, argument about men. Like, I always say, like, the man will present himself. I can always see it. If he ain't and he ain't gonna be, he can present himself. He's gonna present himself. Maybe not with like verbal things, or like you know what I mean. Like, but he in some way at some life changing moment within your relationship.
I believe that as well.
He's gonna show himself, and and a lot of times. Love gets in the way with that. Emotion gets in the way with that.
I don't want to hear the answer. I do not be wanting that to be the answer.
And
I'm like, he just showed his ass. You for real, that person.
Yeah. And it sucks.
You don't want it.
You don't want it. It sucks, but...
You make 20 excuses.
Yeah, you make 20 excuses. Yeah, you do.
22, man.
And that's the hard part, too, with relations. Like... Keep everybody out y'all business. Keep everybody out the way. Keep the roads clear so you can see the traffic that's coming in between y'all so that you can catch stuff before it happens. We don't even have to get into the children because now I got to look at a baby that look like you.
That's true.
And that can be real good or real bad. That can be like
that act like you, that talk like you. Eventually, that child is going to take on mannerisms.
And honestly, usually that's going to be the case, man. I feel like God works that way.
Child. Like this what you want, huh?
Them jeans.
This is what happens. You gotta look
them
at
jeans.
Like at mannerisms, you're gonna have to deal with it again. Now this time.
Come on now, with your child.
The one that you have that you gotta raise.
So and you gotta love. You have to love.
There's no choice in it.
I left your daddy, but I gotta love you.
Now you back.
Are you kidding?
Right. Yeah.
So I just want women to just do more to help themselves. Be more aware and more conscious.
I'm great, y'all.
So that we can walk away from the table when the table does not serve us.
I think we've always tried We go into it with like
We so
100% good intentions, and then it gets chipped away until we're only reacting.
Yeah.
We're not giving anymore. We're only reacting.
Yeah,
So I think we're doing our part. I don't think it's always the men. Sometimes it's us, but I think always the men don't always do their part to be really upfront of what their long-term intentions are.
I definitely agree with that.
Right.
Upfront.
Amen.
Because we're usually okay until we're not.
Hey, listen, man. I know this is I'm probably going to be shunned for this.
We're usually okay until we're not. I'm sorry.
That's hard, ain't it?
Oh, my God.
Write that down.
My God.
Theme for the song, right? Topic. Anyways, man, listen. Y'all got to be up front. You know what I'm saying? If you want the kid, say you want it. If you don't want the kid, say you don't want it. That's it. You can't be in and out.
Right.
Especially in the kid's life, you cannot be in and out, man. It's too important of a role.
Right.
To be in and out. So you need to make that decision.
And let somebody else.
Yeah.
If not.
I mean, you know, not to get too personal again, which is like the third time today. But I just recently found out, like, you know, I was adopted. Like my real dad is not my dad.
Not your biological.
Not my biological dad. He's my dad. Dad, you're my dad. Okay. But by blood, it's not my dad. And my real blood dad gave up rights for me and all that. So I'm kind of going through that a little bit, which I never thought I would. But at the same time, you know, he gave up rights and whatever, and that whole process went. Here I am as a man that thought my dad that raised me was my dad for real, and now here I am at this point in my life where I'm like, at a good, you know, I feel like I'm good. So. You never know what that would have did. That never would have did. You know, that never. You know, what would he have done if that wasn't the case? Like if I had known who my dad was from the jump, or if I had known as a kid.
But you had spirits following you. You had family members watching over you. You didn't even know.
That's word.
A whole nother side of your family. You got 3 sides of your family.
That's word.
Praying for you.
That
died for you.
Yeah, I never knew that.
That died for you, bro.
Yeah, that's word.
I just got 2. You feel me?
Yeah, that's word. That's
like,
facts. That's a cool way to looking at that. I never look at it like that. I am actually open. I mean, it's so dope. I never thought I would have sisters. I found out that I had sisters. You know, more younger brothers than I have. So it's cool, man. Uncles that I never met. I met all of them recently, but so. You know, that kind of stuff is like, you know, those stories are to be told based off of these laws. You know what I'm saying? If we organize these things, and, you know, get together and sit down together and not be so combative, but actually sit down and be like, hey, look, this is our perspective of it as the man. Make
loving, responsible decisions towards this being. If somebody says I don't and I do, then like say, okay, I relinquish until further notice or never. And the same as an adoption or anything else. But I think a man has a right to say he does not want a child and then be relinquished.
And they shouldn't have to have the responsibility, especially if it's like,
if we can.
If it was a consensual sex thing.
Sure. Of course.
It's so hard seeing sisters trying to take brothers out for child support, and then we got to move the baby 2,000 miles away. And then
child support put people in the system.
You know that man make $15 an hour and don't even have food stamps. He can't even put gas in his car.
What's the long-term effects of that? You know what I'm saying? Because you putting him in the system now.
Come on.
And that's a long
And they got to ride back and forth to court from wherever they're at, some across the
country.
And your
ass spending money too,
listen now, hold on.
Just
now.
Right.
We
be going on trips, do whatever.
I'm finna show him.
Like,
I'm finna boss up on his ass.
I don't have another child because I'm about
boss
to
up on
watch
his
this.
ass.
I'm finna move to the nearest city.
Right.
Watch this.
There are some men that need to be on child support. Do not get me wrong.
I feel
There are some men that need to get their shit together.
Slicked us
just
through.
Bye.
So don't get that wrong. But man, that was a good topic. That went a great.
Right.
Thanks, guys. All right, so next topic. I got Brie Stvnz here. She did Cross Gen 3. And I wanted to get on this because it's a wave right now. Country in black culture with Old Town Road bumping right now.
Okay.
I want to get her perspective on this because she just did a country song yesterday at the show.
Yes.
Do you think it's ever going to break into the culture? I can't feel like it. I don't know.
I mean, if we get enough of it, it will.
What do you think it's going to take to make it break?
Me.
Ha ha. That's what's up. See, that's how you boost yourself, people. You hear that? She said,
but not in like I already see myself at the CMAs.
That's what's up. Yeah, hell yeah.
So I don't know what that look like, even if it's
nah,
just one
if you
hit.
see yourself, you'll get
but I
there.
see there. Like,
nah, if you see yourself,
but
you'll
I've
get
always
there.
loved country. So that's the secret. Like,
Yeah.
I'm from Tennessee.
Yeah.
And we got blues. I love bluegrass. I love rock and roll. Jimi Hendrix is my favorite artist. I love Janis Joplin. But that's like big ups to my dad, though, because my pops, like, loves music. Music buff. So everything about music in him is like aligned with what I know and what I'm familiar with. The Beatles.
Yeah. Word.
Like,
Facts.
it goes deep. Frank Sinatra. Like, all my favorite artists. Even Nina Simone. It just, so singing for me, and I've been singing since I was in kindergarten. I was in choir. So I was a choir kid, and I love orchestral music. I love symphonies. I love all instruments. So I grew up in that kind of environment because I was privileged to.
Yeah.
I went to Germantown.
Yeah.
So they had that. You know what I'm saying? So that was like, okay.
I mean, we got to get more arts into black schools. I will say that. That's for sure. I mean, I know that topic was supposed to go that way, but
5,000 years ago.
That needs to be something that we really, especially that seems to be something that we can dominate based off of history. So I feel like arts in the black schools needs to get back on that. But
we just need to have a complete infiltration. Like, if we can sit down and get people that are politicians that are going to cut the check, people that are teachers that are going to teach, and people that are principals to disperse the checks. Like, you got to have like the whole lineup.
Like
you got to have like the whole funnel. You got to find one person to do one job, one person to do another job. Okay, you go to get this middle school, you get this high school, you get this elementary school. We're going to get 3 different teachers. They all finna be linked up. So we're going to share supplies.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to get one person who does venues, and we're going to put these babies in these venues. We're going to get our they do transport. Everybody drive buses.
Yeah, man.
Pull them, get the buses, load the kids
Make
up,
sure they
take them to the venue.
Do what they need to do.
Like, if I had the money.
Y'all hear all that? Big Boss Brie.
R.I.P. Nipsey.
Big Boss Brie. R.I.P.
Nipsey Hussle,
hey,
bro.
listen, we've been talking Nipsey for 2 weeks.
This man was doing to connect. Like, since his passing, it's been like,
hey, question.
What needs to...
Question. I'm going to ask you that. Cause now that I know you say R.I.P. Nip, do you feel like Nipsey was killed on some games? I got to get this out here. Do you feel like it was like, because the most worst villain name of all time, I will continue saying that, the worst villain. Because if a came up to me named Cuz, I wouldn't know this name. I'm not with this name, bro. But go ahead. I'll let you talk.
Like,
I've already said my thoughts. So
I mean, rats is just rats. And
his name is because it's a rat name.
Wait, but pause though. No more speaking on this name.
Okay,
no more speaking no more speaking. Said
that sucks.
Hey, he's out. Nipsey fucking Hussle did what the he came here to do.
That's facts. He did.
So regardless of all that other,
you're right.
When he signed that, we already knew where he was going. So it really don't even matter when it happened. It don't even matter how it happened. You could be at home and choking on a chicken bone.
I hope that.
And if you out of here, you out. I'm just, like, real talk. Like, when you out of here, you just gone. It just happens.
Yeah.
So how it happened. That real talk.
For real. No, you right.
Nipsey Hussle though.
But do you feel like, that's what I'm saying, do you feel like it was like it was a higher calling for him?
I don't care. He had to have.
Okay.
Why?
Because I feel like Nip, if you really, like, I'm a Nipsey fan, follow him, his spirit was so deep, and for him to die on some, like, mid-level level, I just ain't signing up for that belief. I don't believe in that. So now each Nipsey fan that's come on the show or, like, has his spirit, which you, Big Boss Brie, I'm going to start calling you that now, have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to get their perspective on that because I'm all about, I feel like things are bigger than this. Nipsey was, clearly about that, and he, put it out there that he believed that, and he put in the works for his people. And a lot of stuff people didn't even know about until after he passed. Now you find out all the he was doing. Beforehand, he was doing it, and you didn't hear about it. So I just want to get your perspective. That's all. R.I.P. Nip.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know about Nipsey's music at first.
Yeah.
So I knew
been
him
Nipsey
as
music
Lauren's
first, actually.
Lauren's man.
Okay,
Sad to say,
That's,
it was like Lauren's man.
No, that's
I
a
was
lot.
like,
That's a lot of. Honestly, that's how a lot of women knew.
Yeah, because I'm like, Lauren's the sweetheart.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
if Lauren like him, then like, sis, who do you like?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I like
yeah,
him too.
yeah.
Okay, good. Welcome to the family. Like,
Yeah,
come on
facts.
in. And then it was like, oh wow, he does Vector 90,
Yeah.
a place where entrepreneurs meet.
Yeah,
Like,
he in those meetings.
What? I gotta go meet him.
Yeah.
So my plan was to go out there this summer.
Yeah.
I got family in LA. I just started
Facts.
working at Collab. I was like, why not make the collab in Vector 90? So that whole news just
that
twisted.
was, hey man, that was hurtful for me.
Just twisted. I just knew like we was gonna shake hands. I just knew we was gonna be sitting down looking at each
Listen,
other.
man, he's still here.
Yeah,
Just
man,
gotta
he's
carry
still
it.
here. He's still here.
Carry the torch. Pick that shit up. Let's run.
Marathon does continue.
Let's run. Marathon. Hit that full stride. Manny know about that. All right, so I got a question for Jada, and then we'll wrap it up. You know, I'll let y'all finish up, but I wanted to ask her this because she's been 5 years now. You said running the shop.
Oh no, it's been closer to 4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you've been by yourself for most of that till recently, as far as being a single.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a kind of. I mean, okay. So, all right. So, to say I'm single now would be like by a legal
terms. You're not single
right,
now. Yes.
I'm
But
living
as
with
far as the process of leading up to now.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah. And so then, yeah.
So running a business,
Mm-hmm.
especially in chat, and on the side you are.
Right.
How is that? Like, how do scheduling wise? How's that line up? How do you like?
Okay, so this is kind of like so I have 2 children.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
One was a little older, so it was easier. I have a new baby, and that wouldn't be like, I don't even know. It would be nearly impossible without the help of his father. I don't know how. Like I mean, I'm a woman, so I'll make a way.
Yeah.
And we find a way to do it however we have to do it, and I'm fully prepared to if I ever had to. But but I think I've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
My daughter's not a baby, my first child. So, and I had businesses before this one.
Yeah.
So you make it work, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're investing and sacrificing, and that's the same thing as you do when you have a child and you have a clock-in job. Only there's a shut-off time, but with your own business, you don't have that.
Yeah.
You don't have
That's
the luxury of
yeah.
shutting it off. You have to constantly and you get tired and you slack off, and you have to redo it again and again. It's hard.
What do you do to recharge in those situations?
I mean. All right, so I guess rest and things.
Okay. Rest. That's important.
I need to be focused, so I can't have tension. Mm-hmm. So anything that relieves tension helps and things. So having a baby, just giving a little bit of time away from that for a minute, or from the business and from my life. And then I don't want to be alone either. So it's a really it's hard. It's a strategic planning in finding where I can feel motivated. There's few little windows after I'm completely maxed out where I feel inspired. Yeah. And I try to get as many of those times as possible.
So it's not a lot of those, is what you're saying. Or
not. There's never going to be enough of those.
There's never enough.
No.
Yeah, man. Well, we gotta get some more.
I just did an evaluation the other day where I wrote in my planner about what I was gonna do this year to help myself, because I haven't taken any time for myself,
right.
And this is the first time I've ever been isolated away from my friends that I'm familiar with, my family, everyone. So it's weird for me because I'm having to figure out for the first time what I like. So I said, mind, okay, great. I haven't done any puzzles, haven't done any crosswords, nothing. Body, spirit,
right.
So I guess if you break it down like that, I guess what do you need in those areas?
Yeah.
So then maybe you spend a little extra time doing, I don't know, nonprofit work on the weekend, 100%. And that's for your spirit.
Yeah.
Get that point of almost exhaustion, and then think, and that's the best ever. When you get to where you can't hardly breathe, and you're so tired, and you still are awake. Those are the best times. So that's when I have my most motivation, because when you're busy or whenever, or you have energy, you don't have time for motivation. It's when you're you do something you enjoy, and then you have that feeling like of that exhaling. When you have that moment to exhale, that's when you have that time. So whatever it is that gives you that moment to exhale, I think is the time where I feel most inspired. Where I'm like, tomorrow I'm about to do this, this, and this, and then I go to sleep or whatever. But then it usually works.
Yeah, I was talking to my brother over the weekend. He's working on a farm and been outside, and I was telling him, like, you know, this kind of stuff, man, like, we be outside and phones off, clear, like, outside all you hear is like the birds and stuff, like the wind. Like, that kind of stuff right there is like the recharge. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, at least, like, you get outside and you like taking in the stuff around you that you normally don't take in, turn off all the noise, you know what I mean? Get outside, walk around, you're working outside or whatever, like, you're getting away from, you're able to, like, you know, get into yourself and, like, reflect on things you need to do, or, you know, just relax, get the tension off of you, not even worry about whatever it is that you got back in the crib or in the car or whatever on the phone. So, you know, I feel like for me, that's like that's a good way to recharge your spirits. Like,
for sure. You're never gonna get motivated with the phone in your hand.
No.
You're not gonna be creative with the phone in your hand.
Although there are some motivational speakers on my phone.
There's like videos, whatever. But that's like, that's still your learning. That's a take in. That's not a put out. That's not an output. That's not gonna do it. One-on-one and being with people, like one-on-one or alone, those two things I think are the biggest. And even when you're one-on-one, sometimes you're alone in the last moments. But those are, being on the phone, that's like that's an intake.
Yeah,
so
you're not really out
when you're
there.
Unplugged out, I can see how that does it. Out somewhere.
You should
or
get
with
outside,
the one-on-one.
Jada. Go hike.
Hike, I haven't done it yet. I need to do it.
You in Chattanooga.
I
We
know
got
it.
plenty of.
I
We got a trail down
Maybe
there
we can go hiking,
everywhere.
because I haven't hiked either.
Let's do it.
Y'all two,
Yes.
y'all two go hike, man.
I would like
Link up
that.
after the show, get a change numbers.
Yes.
Make sure everybody's getting their 30 minutes of sunlight a day at least.
I don't get that. I need it.
You have to go outside.
Y'all both gonna link the
That
hike.
before we go.
That is so good
Iggy's Loudmouth
for all your
podcast
happy
with hiking teams
hormones,
links.
all your happy like thoughts and
Right.
like get
You
that.
hike?
Hell yeah.
You never did.
I don't hike,
Well,
but I
let's
get
go.
30
Y'all
minutes of
two get
sunlight.
it.
I believe
I don't
in
do that.
sunlight.
I
Y'all
need
two
it.
get it.
Sunlight like sparks your brain and
does.
like it's energy.
It's like
fun.
vitamin
I
D or
promise you.
something.
Yeah,
And
you
y'all,
gotta
when y'all
go
do
outside.
it, y'all come back and talk to me, and I'll tell
sure.
y'all, man. That's how it go.
I need that.
It's a good recharge to the
For
spirit.
sure.
All right, man. What y'all got going next? What's up? What's new? We'll wrap it up after that. What's new for you, Brie? What you got?
Parlay podcast.
Parlay podcast. You got to play. Can I come on?
Yeah, of course.
All right. You got a podcast, huh?
Yeah.
Yes,
What's it gonna be about? Can I get a topic?
Yeah. So the first season is all about the 8 dimensions of wellness.
Whew.
That's
Ooh,
deep.
that's heavy.
Each episode is a different dimension.
Hell yeah. Good.
One of them.
So they only teach you. I know. Look, they only teach you in the school system about mental, emotional, and physical.
Yep.
But they're like a whole nother zones, like social, environmental, financial.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Facts.
Like
It's
that's
a dope
just
All the things
so.
that throw you off.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you can look good if you occupationally well
Yeah.
and you got a good job.
Yeah.
Financially well, you make a lot of money. You socially well, you got a lot of friends. But you treat your environment like your home and the home that you live on, which is the planet, like you don't
Hell yeah.
really like
Planet like.
you can run down all of that. Like
Right.
so yeah, nobody has all 8.
Okay.
No one has all
No,
8.
yeah, facts.
So it's all about a journey about how we're
Well,
all
the
fucked
discussion
up
is
and
all
we
that.
can't judge
Yeah.
each other.
Right.
See how that works?
Yeah, I ain't judging.
Nobody got all 8.
I ain't judge your podcast either.
I know, bruh, this is hard. So I'm not in a bus, bro. I'm not in a bus.
Hey, listen, you know.
Midnight Puff. I'm
Midnight
not- I
Puff
don't
got me
sponsors.
right. I ain't gonna lie, man. It
I
got
don't
me
got
right.
Ginger Soul Production.
Look, we kind of
Like, I
sweating
don't-
in here. It's a little sweaty, but we straight. Shout out to Manny. Midnight Puff. You know what I'm saying? We here. We out of here. Anything new for you, Jada? Same old, same old.
Yeah, I mean, like, come check us out. It's
Put
two
your-
girls in the shop.
Plug. We need a shameless plug right now. 2 girls in the shop.
Yeah,
Follow
so-
where you need to follow.
For sure. 6218 Dayton Boulevard, Suite A. Pernell and Jada on Facebook. So,
Yep.
yeah,
They
check us
hard.
out.
If you see my, you know, it's a little rough. I had a rough night last night, so it's not clean, but Jada did it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to her. Y'all go
Thank
pay
you.
her a visit. She's dope.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have both y'all on again For sure.
Ready.
This is a dope ass discussion,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
Very chill. Y'all got into some good ass topics.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for creating the
Thank you.
space. Thanks for inviting us out.
I'm just chilling, man. I like to talk, and I like to hear people talk.
Appreciate
so
it.
I'm blessed to have this.
Kicking it.
Yeah, for
Too
sure.
easy. Too easy. Good energy.
Too easy.
Yeah.
And people find out some shit about me. Y'all putting my out there like that. I'm talking about my dad and stuff. I ain't talking about that.
Come on, man. It's a space. That's what happens. When no
Come on, man.
together.
Y'all not
Safe
supposed
space.
to. I'm supposed to be asking y'all. Y'all got me out here. I'm just playing.
You in with some heavyweights.
Love.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Iggy's Loudmouth podcast. Much love.